welcome back. So last video we finished off where we said we lost precision because we combine our three conditions. Now we don't know which one made it so that we can't play. Remember that the user of your application does not see any of the code. They're not going to go read millions of lines of code to figure out why it became what it is. We need to always give feedback to the end user so that they understand what's going on. And if you don't give feedback, they're just going to get frustrated, or you're going to be frustrated because you don't understand why it did something when you were expecting something else. Maybe it was that the person wanted to play and he didn't need friends to go outside and play, right? But you enforced that he needs to have friends for him to be able to play outside. So how can we give them more feedback? And this is the next step of our conditional statements, where we could specify different conditions for the same conditional statement. So different, rather than just having a true and false, a bit more variations. Okay? So what that would mean, basically, let me just clean off my screen a little bit because this is a bit too hard to read. All right, so we're trying to get this precision back, but at the same time, we don't want our code to be in too many lines, right? That was the problem previously. Let me go again with, let's say, pink. So our first thing was this one. So this line 9. In line 9, we say we have a ball, and this is an end, okay? So we have a ball, we have our friend more than 0, and we have our weather, which is blue. Okay, I'm making it as small as I can so I could fit other stuff. This is our line 9. So this is 9. Okay, line 9. Now, when this is true, we want to play. So let me clean this up a little bit. Let's change this order a little bit to make it a bit cleaner for me. So when this happens, we want to say true. We want to say play. Right? The flow is still going perfectly. And the moment that it's false, we want to do another thing. We don't want to just say, for whatever case, play, no play. We want to say a bit more detail. So the moment that this statement, this pink statement, is false, so the moment that this is false, we want to be a bit more specific. What actually is false? So in this case, we're going to say no ball, and our friends are bigger than 0, and the weather is blue. So the only part here is there is no balls, right? And in this case, if this is true, we want to say no ball. And then we could continue our flow, right? How would that showcase inside code? Well, rather than this else over here, we're going to just bring it down for a second. We're going to say else if. We're going to put another condition. And we're going to say exclamation mark, meaning no, I don't have ball. And friends that want to play is bigger than 0. Sorry, I can't type now. Am I blind? Yes, I am. And the weather is blue. So notice in this case, the only difference is I don't have a ball. That's not have a ball, right? So in this case, I could say no ball, no play, right? We got a bit more precision because now we're specifying if I don't have a ball, what happens? So notice what happens. I have a ball. Well, let's stay to true, make sure our code works. So now I should say play. We got play. And the moment that ball becomes false, well, now it's going to say no ball, no play. No ball, no play. And the moment anything other than ball, so let's say ball is true, or actually, let's say ball is false and friends want to play is also 0. So now two things is false. So this is true because this is not having a ball, but this is false. We should go on the no play. So any other condition than these two conditions will go on no play, right? This makes our conditional statements connected. So only one of these bodies could ever run, not multiple. Only one of these connected conditions will run. Either the if, the else if, or the final else. The final else is if I got there, we will run. If I ever get in the body of this one, I'm not going to check this at all. If this one is true, the computer is going to short. It's something called short. It means the moment that this is true, this condition over here, the moment it's true, there's no reason to check any of the other ones. They're all connected together. So the moment this is true, ignore everything else and just go continue the code, the program, right? So that's a precision that's back. So this one is our orange. Well, this is not enough because we got other stuff to put in there. So let's go ahead and do another one. So the moment that this is false, I'm going to do another one. And notice that this one, we're going to have our ball back. Let me do it like over here or something because we're going to run out of space before I could do all of this. So let's do it over here. So we're going to have our ball back. We're going to have no friends. So friends is 0. And the weather is good. The weather is blue. Right? So the only problem here is our no friends. So in the case that this is true, we want to say no friends. Right? And then continue our application. And we could all again do the same thing with our other condition. So let's say if this is false, what's the next thing? Well, the weather is not blue. Weather, let's say, not blue. Okay, it's something else. And we have friends, and we also have a ball. So in this case, we have friends, and we have a ball, but the weather is not blue. Sorry for my horrible handwriting over here. We're going to fix that in a second. So in this case, we're going to say weather bad or something. Something with weather and end our application. Right? Now, so let's try writing this out. So else if, so this time we said we have a ball, have ball, and we said we don't have friends. So friends does not equal, well, it's less than or equal to 0, which is not possible to be less than, so we're just going to say equal to 0. And weather is equal to blue. We're going to come back to cleaning this up. So some of you might be looking at my code and like, what is going on? Right? So this part will be green. And then we got another one, which says I have a ball and I have friends that want to play. And this is the problem. The weather is not equal to blue. So in this case, weather is something else. So system.out here, no friends, no play. And over here, bad weather, no play. And this precision that we gain back, we could even go further. We could say it's possible that we have no ball and the weather is bad. And in those cases, we could go deeper and give more precision, more precision, more precision. And this if statement could go infinitely. So let's, before we talk about that, let's talk about this. So this one is this one, as you can see the color codes, and I'm going to put the green one just so you're not too confused. I know there's a lot going on my screen, but if you look, we got this flow going. And the moment that all of this is false, this is the last one which we didn't do yet. Let's go ahead and choose a color, let's say red. The last case where this is also false, this is the moment we get to no play, which you might have seen, and I'm like, where is this thing? So that's our else over here. Our else basically says if all the other conditions, all of these conditional statements, all of these if statements are false, then it doesn't matter what's happening. Just go ahead and do the else. Cool? And we're just, before I finish this off for this part, you got to understand that this combination of conditional statements have to always start with an if. So it always has to start with an if. There needs to be one if statement that starts this this chain. And in between this one, there could be 0 to infinity of else ifs. So you could go on as many times as you want. And you could also have none. As you've seen that before, we started with just an if statement and nothing else. Then we added an else statement, and now we added many else ifs. Lastly, the else over here, there could only be 0. So if you don't want it, you could take it off. Or a maximum of 1. You can't have more than one else. What does that mean is I can't change this order, first of all, and I can't add more. So if I go ahead, let's make a little bug here. Let's break it for a second. Let's go ahead and add another else. You'll notice that my compiler is going to give me an error. Right? If I add my, let's say, else over here, well, my compiler is still going to give me an error because else ifs cannot come after an else. Notice that else doesn't have a condition. If it reaches this code, it will just do the body. In any other case, though, if this is true, it will short everything else and just continue with the application. This is really important. Let me know if you guys have questions. See you guys in the next video.